Hello my friends, I'd like to introduce myself. I've made a lot of videos before and I'm trying to find the connection with my people. I've looked at my analytics on YouTube to see what audiences I'm attracting, and it is basically me. I'm attracting people like me, which is perfect. So I'm 49, I live in the UK in Shropshire, and I've got 2 grown-up children, and I've got 3 miniature Dachshunds, I've got an African grey parrot, and I've got a tank full of Malawi cichlid fish. So I like those things. So that's the content you're going to get from me. I did set up a channel. My shoe sticking to itself. I set up a channel called Cast Cuttings, which I am going to put this video onto. But I do have another video, another channel called Bits and Pieces, which is what's in my brain is on there. So there's videos on there of me using my cooking skills, using my money saving skills, my cleaning skills even. That's all on Bits and Pieces. But I set up Cast Cuttings specifically for plants because I love them so much. It was specifically going to be for plants that are grown in water or semi-hydroponically, which it just makes me sound clever, but I'm really not. It's just big words. So that's a bit about me anyway. Cast Cuttings with the semi-hydro hasn't really taken off in the way that I wanted it to. Things about plants in the general way that they're grown in compost are more popular, if you like. People obviously, what's the right word? People are used to plants being in soil because that's right. Growing plants in soil is right, that's how it's done. But in recent years, I've noticed, which is why I changed trying to get most of my plants to grow in semi-hydro, in the water environment. Peat has been banned in the UK, which obviously is what we used to have in the compost when we were using it for our plants. It used to contain peat, but it's been banned now to the little people. They can still use it in the larger plant nurseries, that's fine. But when we get them in our homes, we can't use that peat anymore. So that plant is lacking in nutrients. So what do we do? Feed our plants. Plant suffers. Anyway, that's by the by. One way to be kind to our plants is take a cutting of your plant, root it in water, and you can do it that way. You can grow that plant in water hydroponically using that method, which works great. But if you've got a really big plant and it's established, it's beautiful, it's in soil, compost, dirt, wherever you are in the world, doesn't matter, it's soil, and you try to change that after that plant has been happily living in soil forever, and all of a sudden you want to take it out of soil and put it into something it's not used to, you probably will lose that plant. I know people have done it successfully, but some plants just won't take to it. They'll just die. It'll go into shock and it'll die. Anyway, that's irrelevant. So this channel, I've got Kath's Cuttings. It's not doing great. I've got another channel, Bits and Pieces. I will put this video on both just out of interest to see how YouTube is sending people to which channel, and needs to give its head a wobble really, because it's not, I don't know. It's never recognising the little guys, is it? It's always the bigger ones. Like, you know, you've got B&Q and you've got, I don't know, Bob down here. B&Q's always going to get it, isn't it? Whereas poor old Bob, he's fantastic, he knows everything. And he's not getting a look in, poor old Bob. Anyway, that's a little bit about me. Very little snippet. I don't know if I've said it, but I'll edit it out anyway. I'm 49, I've got 2 grown-up children. I've got an African grey parrot, who you will hear in the back of my videos. She's very vocal. I've got a tank full of Malawi cichlid fish, tropical fish. And of course there's my plants. 3 miniature Dachshunds. You'll hear them as well. God, you'll hear them. Anyway, you'll get to know me, you'll get to know my setup. So let's go on to the plants, shall we? I have got loads behind me, as you can see, just for the purpose of the video. So I want to talk through a few of my plants and my likes, dislikes, and a little bit about the care that I give them and what's working for them. So I'll start with everybody's favourite. I think everybody loves this because it's so easy. The snake plant. This is only a little one. I don't think it gets much bigger than this, to be fair, height-wise. I think it sort of stays... Is it a bird's nest type, they call it, I think, this one? Well, not on purpose, I just bought it because I like the variegation in the leaves. So, yeah, this is a snake plant. Now, the snake plant is perfect for newbies. If you're thinking of going into the hobby, a snake plant and a peace lily are the easiest pair to start with. I'd say also the Tradescantia. That's my cuckoo clock. Listen. My husband got me that for Christmas and I absolutely love it. It's brilliant. It's absolutely lovely. His little cuckoo comes out. Anyway, I'll just let him finish carrying on. And the dog's chirping in as well now, just for good measure. Just wait for them to shut up. Obviously, somebody dared to walk past the house. Right, what was I saying? So, the snake plant, the Tradescantia, and yeah, the peace lily. These 3 are perfect for beginners. Now, all of these I've got are in lacquer clay balls, which basically clay balls. All that does is acts as an anchor for the plants. There's no nutritional value in the clay balls. You add the nutrition using this way of growing your plant. You add the nutrition in the form of water, and basically your plant sits in the water. Sorry, I'm just going to show you. It's in a clear pot so I can keep an eye on those roots, and they look good, and that's just nutrient solution and water in the bottom of there. So that's basically hydroponics, and it's called semi-hydroponics because it's only half in water. So if it was just water, you wouldn't have anything in between. So you've got the clay balls are acting like as a wick. It wicks its way up from the water, up the pot, up to the roots. That's all it is, just all it is. It's just not water by itself. That's another video for another time, isn't it? So yeah, snake plant, peace lily, tradescantia. Perfect for beginners. If you want to give plants a try, these are the 3 that will give you the least trouble. The main killer for any enthusiast at all is overwatering. Just don't overwater. Don't water it every day. Somebody on Google will tell you, oh, it should be watered once a week. It shouldn't be watered once a week. It's watered when it's dry, when it needs it. I'll just show you this little gadget. It's a moisture meter. This is used with compost. It's nothing to do with the semi-hydroponics, what I'm doing with them. That's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. But if you've got soil, if you're a newbie, get one of these. You put it in the soil and it will tell you when it needs watering. I don't know. Oh, I have got one in soil actually here. This is a carnivorous plant. These have to stand in water all the time, 24/7, no matter what. If they dry, they'll die. They have to stay wet. This is in a self-watering pot just because that indicator will tell me when this is getting low, and I can't let that dry out. That has to stay wet or it will just die. So I'll just show you how this moisture meter works. Okay, so you dip it in and straight away that is telling me that is moist. That's great. That's what it needs to be for this plant. Another thing with carnivorous plants, they don't need to be fed. The soil that you put them in must be soil for carnivorous plants, because if it's got any fertilizer in it at all, it will kill it. It'll be too much for it. Because it's carnivorous, it feeds itself. It eats flies. Don't need to give it anything else. There is such a thing as feeding it too much and it will burn the leaves and it will die. Sounds dramatic, doesn't it? But it's the way it is. I love this. It's brilliant, isn't it? It's like little the pitcher plant, they call it. And inside those little, like, I wouldn't know how to describe it as really. It's like a little hood, and inside there you water it inside there. If you don't have to, I don't think, but I've seen some do it in the nursery, so I assume that's what you do. And the insects go in there and they stick to the sides of the petally things. They stick to there, and that's it. They're done for. And then they go in and they drown in the water. And I think it's I don't know. Doesn't matter. It eats flies. Don't feed it. Don't fertilise it. You buy compost for carnivorous plants, and you can't go wrong with that one. I wouldn't use these semi-hydroponically just because it's too much like hard work figuring it all out. And this works, so why would you? So that's a few to be going on with. I'll go for this one. Now you're gonna laugh at me because I always pronounce them wrong. This, Dieffenbachia. Anyway, it's a lovely little thing, isn't it? Got this from Lidl. It's in a self-watering pot. One thing you'll notice with the majority of my plants, any that I've got in compost, there's little pebbles, there's grit around the top. Now, the reason I'm wanting to change to semi-hydro is you will notice it. If you keep a plant, you will notice it. Might be not today, tomorrow, next week, but you will notice it in time. And you've seen these little yellow things. They're basically sticky traps, like fly papers, you know. See the little black flies? They're fungus gnats. So basically, I don't think it's a coincidence. It's too, I don't know, it's not a coincidence in my eyes. I think it's all related. This peat-free compost. The problem seems to have got worse probably in the past 5 years, where you get your compost, you repot your plant, it's lovely. Next thing you'll notice is little black flies. You'll be sitting having your cup of tea, and then you'll look down and there'll be a dead fly in your tea. They'll be hitting you in the face. They're horrible. They live in the top of the compost in your plant. So this stops them being able to burrow down into the soil. If you put a layer of grit on the top, stops the fungus gnats. Certainly helps, it certainly reduces them. I don't think, in all honesty, it's got rid of them all, because if you've got compost, you can guarantee you've got fungus gnats. You might think you haven't, but you will have. Might not have many, but you will have. You can get treatments for it. I think there's something called mosquito bits, which people use. I don't know, you water it in, I suppose. And you've got nematodes, whatever it's called. And you water those in, and it's parasites. It seeks out the flies and it kills them. So yeah, that's the Dieffenbachia. And at the moment, this time of year, your plants aren't looking at their best. No, it's not. It's January. Happy New Year, January the 3rd. So they're not looking at their best at this time of year anyway. So don't expect them to be beautiful all year round, because that's not going to happen. Because they're like us. They need a rest. They need a rest. My next plant. Look at this. Isn't it lovely? Now don't ask me what it's called, because I've no idea. I think it's Anthurium. Not sure, but it's beautiful. The leaves are like velvet. Well, they're not actually that velvety at the moment. I know, maybe they harden off and go smooth after a while, but gorgeous. Can't wait for it to grow. But time of year, it won't really grow properly, not for another couple of months. Can't wait though, it's gorgeous. Cost me 25 quid. Tell me. So that's that one. This is another little snake plant. And this one is also in semi-hydro. But can you see those little babies there? This was the plant that I was least looking forward to. I didn't think it'd make it in the semi-hydro, because snake plants don't like a lot of water when they're in soil. They can dry as a bone, they can, but I was a bit about putting it in semi-hydro, but I make sure that there's not hardly any water in the reservoir, so it's not sitting in it like some of the others. Well, it does worry me a bit. But I'm hoping it will adapt. Hope it will. It seems to be growing well, and it's got them babies, so fingers and toes and everything else crossed, it'll take to it. Next one is a weeping fig. I had this in the front room for a while, and if it doesn't like where you put it, it will drop its leaves. Total drama queen. So I just thought, oh, for God's sake, pull yourself together, love. So I put it in semi-hydro. I thought, well, you can drop all your leaves all you like. I've had enough of you. Just get on with it in there or die. It's up to you. Now, it seems to be liking it though. I've kept it in the same spot in the conservatory, and I was surprised actually that it didn't throw a tantrum and commit suicide, but it's fine. This plant, I could tell you a tale about this one. I bought it because I had a massive one, a massive dragon plant, and I put it outside in July overnight just to give it a bit of air and, you know, whatever, just left it outside. And it went really, really cold at night, and I went the next morning and I thought, oh God, I hope it's all right. I mean, it's July, you'd think it'd be all right, wouldn't you? Anyway, leaves started to go like crispy and dry and brown. Oh my God. Cold. Killed it, hadn't it? So I chopped it right off, right like down to there. Just dumped it outside, just left it outside in the pot, in the outer pot, just dumped it. Not for God's sake. Anyway, about a month after, little shoot starting to grow from it. So I bought this to replace it. I thought it had died, but it's good actually, because I've been able to put this small plant from B&M into semi-hydro. So I've still got the big plant. Yes, it's in compost, but I might just sell it because I don't want the fungus gnats in my house, and that's the whole idea of using this. But yeah, so I've managed to get this one. This is in a self-watering pot. It's a wick in this one, and that's just taking up the water what it needs. It's got some roots coming through it as well, and they're actually in the water. So, and they're not rotting, so it's totally loving water now, loving water life. So that's good. So that's a dragon plant. That is actually another easy plant for a beginner. They're pretty bulletproof. I mean, it just goes to show with mine, doesn't it? Thought it cold and killed it, and it come back like a phoenix from the ashes. Now this is a fickle wench. The string of hearts. Now I had this in soil, and it just didn't do anything. Just existed like a little twig. So I took it out of the pot just to have a look, and basically the roots were mush, it was nothing. So I cut the stems off and rooted them in water, and then I put it into leca. But I think it might do better in a finer medium. So I might change it, I might not, I don't know, let's have a look. Let's pull its trousers down and have a look. As you can see, that's got a wick, but there's no roots. I can see that's come out, and so it's all right. It's not doing fabulously, obviously, because the roots would all be out, but it's grown. It has grown. So that's the best it's ever done, and that's in semi-hydro. it looks quite good actually to what it used to be like. This one. This goes dormant in the winter anyway, but looks absolutely crap. Absolute stunner it is when it's at its best, but it goes dormant. I thought if I got some grow lights pointing at it all the time, the extra light might just spur it on. I mean, it's got one leaf there, but the general pattern with this is it usually has 2 leaves. It'll start getting another one and one of the old ones will die. It's sort of like 2 leaves and it's whatever. Doesn't seem to do much at all. So I'm looking forward to this year with this plant, because last year I bought one from Bridgemere, which is a garden centre in the UK. Bought one from there, it was lovely. Anyway, one by one the leaves started to die. I ended up with just like 2 leaves, and I thought, oh, do you know what, I'm going to have a look at the roots, see what's happening down there. And it was mushy. There was like a little bit of healthy root on it, but the rest was mush. So I cut it all off, emptied the soil out, and there was like bulbs in the soil which are called corms, which will, if you nurture them, they will be plants themselves. So I did that, I grew it in moss, grew it on, and then put a couple in this leca, and they've grown, they're all right. So I'm hoping this one will be a good one once winter's over and the days are longer and it out of dormancy and all the rest of it. I'm hoping that'll do well. So I've got high hopes, but I won't hold my breath. Let me see. Oh, this one is a beauty. First of all, I thought it was a calathea, but I don't think it is. It's got a weird name, something like Planthea or something like that. But it's also known as the Never Never plant, so that'll do me fine. They like quite a lot of water, which is good because I've put it in semi-hydro now. I've got one that is in compost still, but it's the fungus gnats. It just, I like soil. I don't mind soil at all. I don't mind. It's not my enemy, but the fungus gnats certainly are. This one, I got this pot from the charity shop in town, and I absolutely love the pot, and it's perfect. This is my favourite plant. Favourite. This is a Monstera albo. Look at her. She's gorgeous. She's lovely. The one thing with these ones that have got the white variegation in the leaves, sometimes the white bits can go brown and crispy because they haven't got enough, something to do with what they absorb, like the photosynthesis and all that. This has got a little bit on the tip there and there, but yeah, I love it. Love this plant. Look, just get that. Just look at it. Okay. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. This had 2 leaves for 8 months. When I first bought it, it was a cut-in. So expensive, I'm not even going to tell you. And then it started getting 1 leaf, another leaf. I'm so glad it's doing well in the leca as well, in the semi-hydro. So I'm really pleased about that one. This next one. can't even remember what it's called. It's a bit like, not the money plant, what's it? Chinese money plant. It's a bit like that, but I think the leaves are more like heart-shaped. So I think it's something else. I don't think it's that. Because I have got another one of those and the leaves are a lot smaller. But I know that growing it semi-hydroponically in the nutrient solution can make the leaves bigger. So there's a good chance it could be, but the shape is different, isn't it? So, yeah. So I don't know. This one is a terrarium that I started probably about 3 months, maybe 4 months ago, I don't know. Oh. I'm sort of going for like a woodland, a forest floor type effect. I've got some wood lice in here that I picked up from outside. Just let me turn that one off, see if I see it any better. I don't think you can, that's not helped at all, has it? It's nice though, does look nice. Shame you can't get the full effect with all the lights shining off it and things, but hey ho, it is nice. It's a nice thing. It's a bit of an art. And yet to see if it's successful, really. Don't know. The ferns seem to be doing well. And there's like a type of begonia in there. I might just put it on me. Might just show you the other way around. So this is the terrarium from the top using my other camera. It's pretty cool. I've got a stick in there. And you have to add something called springtails, which are little white insects. And they eat any mould which is growing on the wood. So if you put any wood in there, you have to add springtails or it'll just go mouldy and all your plants will get mouldy. Yeah, so that's that. It does look nice. It does look nice. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you for watching my video and listening to me waffling on. So I hope you've got a bit more of an idea about me and what I like, and join me again and I'll talk a bit more and we'll get to know each other. And once again, thank you for watching. Goodbye.